work on simplifying algebraic expressions today. And we're going to do kind of like we did the other day, where I do a problem, then you do a problem. I do a problem, you do a problem. And I can see you guys writing on your screen at home, so I know if you're following along or not. Okay? So, today, first of all, every problem we see, we need to check first if we need to use the distributive property. My guess is some of you were like, I've heard that, I don't remember it. I know we've learned it this year, but I forgot already. So, as a reminder, okay, if I gave you a problem like this, I know it's lagging a little bit, it's okay. And I said use the distributive property on that, what would you do? Do you remember? You're going to have to remember, so pay close attention. Go ahead, Noah.
2 times x plus 6.
Okay, so remember, I'm going to remind you, Brandon, pay attention, because later, otherwise you're going to tell me I don't know how to do this, okay? The 2 is like the candy, and that has to be shared with everyone in the group. And when you share it by multiplying. So the 2 gets shared with the x, and the 2 gets shared with the 3, so we have 2x plus 6. Okay? 2 times 3 is 6, right? Okay, how about this one? If I said use the distributive property on that problem, what would you get? What would you get here? What do you think, Brooklyn?
12 minus 3 times x.
Close. We would put the 3y first because that came first, and then minus 12. Okay? Then, step 2 today says circle or box all the terms. Okay, because ultimately we're going to be combining like terms. So remember back at the beginning of the year when we circled and boxed things, and we put a circle if they all had x's, and we put a box if they all had y's, and we put a triangle if they were all just numbers. That type of thing? Do you recall doing that?
Yep.
Okay. We're going to do the same type of thing. This time it says always include the plus or minus sign in front of the item, or in front of the term. So if I put a box around 2x, then I would circle the plus 6. Well, it's not a plus 6 anymore, it's just a positive 6. The plus sign just means it's positive. Okay? If I put a box around the 3y, I would circle the minus 12. Well, it's not minus 12, it's now negative 12. So that just makes it a negative number, the minus sign. Okay? And then step 3 is to simplify. And when we simplify, we combine if we can. Well, I have a box and a circle. I can't put a box and a circle together. If I had a box and a box, then I could. Okay? So, let's try one of these. Those of you at home, if I'm going too fast, you tell me, unmute yourself and say, Miss Elfring, slow down. Okay? Or the people here, tell me, slow down. Okay.
Slow down.
The first example. Okay, this is on your screen, right? You guys can all see it. Okay. First of all, use the distributive property if possible. Do I have to use the distributive property in this problem?
Maybe.
No. No, why? How do I know?
Because
There's no parentheses or grouping symbols. So I can skip step 1 and go right to step 2. Okay? Box or circle all the terms. Always include the plus or minus sign in front of it. So I'm going to circle the 10x. Would the plus 3 get a circle?
no.
No, because it doesn't have an x, so I'm going to put a box around that. And then box or circle for the minus 7x. Circle. It has an x, so it gets a circle just like the first one. But the minus sign has to go with it. Minus 12, box or circle.
Box.
Okay. And then plus x, box or circle. What number is in front of that x even though we don't see it, Terry?
1.
1. Okay, so I'm going to put a 1 there. Okay. Now, we've done step 2. Step 3 is to simplify. We're just putting everything together. Okay, so essentially I'm taking my circles, and I have 10x, I have a negative 7x, and I have a positive 1x. And I have to put them together.
What's the answer, guys?
Okay, 10x and negative 7x, if I'm adding them together, 10 plus negative 7 is
17.
3, right? Different signs. This is positive, this is negative, so different signs subtract. So that'd be 3x plus 1x is 4x.
Wow.
Okay? Then we have to take our boxes. We have the positive 3 and the negative 12. What's positive 3 plus negative 12? No one.
Negative 9.
Negative 9. Okay, now we just write those next to each other. Okay, I take the 4x and then I put minus 9. I put minus because it was negative 9, so it's minus 9. Done.
That's cool.
This is my answer. Okay, does that kind of make sense?
So this is the homework.
You're going to be doing things like this on your homework. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a problem now. I want you to try this problem. So go ahead and click the start button.
It's taking a long time. I don't think it's working.
It'll work. Click the start button.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, make sure there's no distributive property to use, so you can skip that step. Circle or box your terms, and then simplify. Remember, if you're make sure you include the minus signs or the plus signs.
Oh shoot.
Don't forget about them.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of gonna get it.
My hand. This is bad.
And I don't care if your handwriting is bad. It's okay.
Okay.
As long as you know what it says. I can figure it out. So don't worry about your handwriting. Do the best you can do. Okay, don't forget if there's a letter like a Y, the Y has to still be in your answer somewhere. It doesn't just disappear.
Oh my god.
Yep. It can be, yeah. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Okay, so for those of you at home, I want you to put your Zoom screen side by side with what you were working on. So do the split screen so that you can see the correct answer. The correct answer should be, if you did it right, negative 5y minus 2.
Yes.
Okay? So if you did not get that, pay close attention here to how I get that. First of all, I would have circled the 3y. I'm going to put a box around the minus 7. Circle the minus 8y. Box the minus 3 and box the plus 8. Okay? Now, I'm going to take my circles, 3y and negative 8y.
Oh.
3 plus negative 8 is negative 5y. Don't forget the letter on there. It has to stay there.
Has to?
Has to. Okay, the letter can't just disappear. Okay, then I'm going to take my numbers, my constants. I have negative 7, negative 3, and positive 8. Negative 7 plus negative 3 is negative 10. And negative 10 plus 8 is negative 2. So when I put these two things next to each other, I just have negative 5y minus 2.
Is that the order it has to be?
Yep, it can be in any order. It could be minus negative 2 minus 5y. Either one. Yes, go ahead. Okay, yeah, you could have it flipped. You could write it this way. Negative 2 minus 5y. That would be okay. Same thing. Okay? All right, let's look at another one. Okay, this one looks a little bit different because there's grouping symbols. So that tells me I can't skip step 1. I have to do what's there. I have to do the distributive property first. So 3 goes with the n to give me 3n. Then, because there's a minus sign here, I put minus. The 3 goes with the 4 to give me 12, because 3 times 4 is 12. And then minus 7n. So I've completed step 1. I've used the distributive property. The second step is to circle or box my terms. So I'm going to circle the 3n. I'm going to box the minus 12. Remember to include that minus sign with it. And I'm going to circle the minus 7n. So far, so good? Okay, then I'm going to take my circles, 3n and negative 7n.
Why would you?
This was a minus sign, so it stays with there. It's just a negative 7n. Now I'm going to put them together. What's 3 plus negative 7? What's 3 plus negative 7? Georgia.
Negative 4.
Negative 4n. Don't forget the n on there.
Do you always add?
Yep, you'll always combine them. Combining means adding.
Okay.
Okay? Then there's only one box, so I don't really have to do anything with it. I just bring that down and put minus 12.
What's the answer?
That's our answer. Negative 4n minus 12. Okay? So I want you guys to try this one on your own. It should be starting. Go ahead and start.
Do we have time to do it?
Yep.
We're only at almost 6.
Gabby, don't forget when you distribute, the 4 also has to go with the 2. See lots of correct answers here. It's awesome. Emily, be careful. That's a -8 and a +12, so be careful on your answer. Addie, same with you. Be careful. Okay, for sake of time, because it's almost lunchtime here, those of you at home, switch your screen again so you can see the correct answer. You should have gotten 4x plus 4 as the correct answer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Distribute first. You get 4x, and then there's a minus sign, so -8 plus 12. Then I'm going to circle the 4x. I'm going to box the -8 because it doesn't have an x with it. I'm going to box the plus 12. So the 4x is by itself. I just have 4x. I put the -8 and the +12 together, and I get 4. But because it's a +4, that's why I put a plus sign in the middle. When it was negative, right, then I put a minus sign. But when it's a +4, I put 4x plus 4. So there's my answer.
Are we only going to see plus and minus signs?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Okay.
This is
Let's try this one.
Fine.
Okay. Now I'm going to do this one with you guys. Okay. So you should see this on your screen. I'll be writing on your screen. Okay. When you look at this one, you see a couple sets of parentheses, and that just means you have to distribute a couple different times. Okay. So first of all, when you distribute the -4 to the 3x, it goes to the entire 3x. That's one term. So -4 times 3x is
-12. X.
-12x. Okay. Then we have -2y plus 7x minus, then we see parentheses again, and that means we need to distribute the 2 to the 4. And 2 times 4 is 8. So I've done the distributive property. Now I need to circle and box my terms. I'm going to box the -12x. Would I box the -2y?
No.
Yes.
No, it's a different letter though, so be careful, Austin. You would not box it, you would maybe circle it instead. Because it's a different letter.
Would
Remember, you can't put an X and a Y together.
Would you triangle the 8?
Yes. Okay, so I put a box around the plus 7x because that has an X just like the first term. And then I'm going to triangle the -8.
Triangle. Why would you triangle it?
Okay? Because that does not have a letter at all. It's just a constant.
But what
You
if
circle it.
I can't circle it because the Y had a circle.
Well, then just circle all of them.
Because they have to have different shapes, remember? Okay, so now I'm going to simplify. I'm going to put my boxes together. -12x and +7x. What's -12 plus 7?
oh
Georgia?
-5x?
-5x. Well, look at the other ones. I only have one circle, so I just bring that down. -2y. I only have one triangle, so -8. Done.
Why did you subtract?
Why did I subtract? Because it said minus. It had a negative sign. So that's why I put minus.
No, for the 12.
If this would have been a plus, I would have put plus there.
No, for the 12 and
Because they're different signs, subtract. -12 and +7, different, don't do that, please, Austin. Different signs, subtract.
okay.
Okay? Questions from anybody at home on that one? Okay. You have a question, Harley? Okay. We got 2 more problems to go. Okay, this one. This looks kind of messy, but you guys, it's not that bad. This is actually a really easy problem. Okay? There's a negative sign out in front of those parentheses, and all that means is we have to distribute a negative sign. There's not a number there. What number is there even though we can't see it?
0.
You see some of you doing this. It's the number 1. Okay, so even though we can't see the number 1 is right there. So then I see parentheses and I'm going to use the distributive property. I'm going to distribute the -1 to the 3m. -1 times 3m, -3m. Plus, because there's a plus sign here, -1 times 7, right?
-7.
-7. There's my answer. I could go through and circle and box, but this would be a circle. This would be a box. So they're different terms. So my answer is just -3m plus -7. Or I could write it as -3m minus 7.
Is there a way that we could look back at these?
The notes are all posted on Canvas, so yes, you'll be able to look back at all these problems because I put the notes on Canvas. Okay? I can put -7 because a -7 really just means, remember, keep, change, change. I could go keep, change, change, and it'd be the same thing. Okay? Either way on your homework would be correct. Okay, so last problem. This one is on your own. So I want you guys to try this one.
Oh my god. I don't even see it.
It's coming.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh,
Oh
my.
Yeah. I think it's too hard.
I think I got it. Why'd you lose your intelligence?
You got that after the problem or just right?
This time, just write what it would be. There's no, you can't figure out what x is because it's not an equation. Just simplify it.
Goofy.
Okay, so those of you at home, just so we can finish this up, I want you to split screen so you can see the answer. I'm kind of seeing two answers. I'm either seeing -2x minus 8 or -2x plus 8. Only one of them is correct. They're not both correct. And the one that is correct is the second one. Okay, so let me explain that to you. The correct answer is -2x plus 8. Here's why. Remember, this is a -1 right here. So I distribute the -1 to the 2x, I get -2x. Then it says minus. I distribute the -1 to the 8, and I get -8. Okay, well, that looks kind of odd. To have it written like this, -2 minus, like 2 minus signs in a row, 2 negatives make a positive.
It's like
Anytime you see 2 negatives right next to each other like that, you can turn them into a plus sign. So it's -2x plus 8 would be the final answer. Okay? Questions on that? Austin?
it's not a question, but it's like saying not
Right. Absolutely.
double negative.